The Funchhouse corpse in the 1970s, there was a horrifying discovery that what the Carnival Funchhouse presented as a creepy prop was actually a real human corpse. The story claims that the mannequin had been hanging as a decoration for years, with thousands of people passing by, taking photos, and even touching it. Without realizing they were interacting with actual human remains, the carnival workers positioned and repainted the prop, regularly believing it to be just another spooky decoration. It was also known that children were surprised by how realistic it looked, unaware that we're viewing a genuine corpse. The truth behind this legend is the case of Elmer McCarty, an unsuccessful train robber killed in a 1911 shootout with police in Oklahoma. After his death, no one claimed his body, so a funeral director embalmed it with arsenic and displayed it for paying customers. The body was later sold to various traveling carnivals and haunted houses. Massey's mummified remains eventually ended up at the New Pike Amusement Park in Long Beach, California. And in December 1976, during filming of The $6 Million Man, a crew member removed the mannequin, causing its arm to break off, revealing human bone. Medical examiners confirmed it was a real human body. Investigations revealed the body had been painted multiple times with phosphorus paint and decorated as various props throughout the years. Maxey's corpse had traveled across America as a carnival attraction for 65 years. Before being discovered, he was finally buried in Summit View Cemetery in Oklahoma. In 1977, the Bunny Man in Fairfax County, Virginia, lies the Colchester Overpass, also known as the Bunny Man Bridge. According to the legend, in 1904, there was a transfer of patients from an asylum. Their bus crashed, and all patients except one were recaptured. Soon after, dead bunnies started appearing around the area, many of which were hanged on the Fairfax Station Bridge. The first documented encounter with the Bunny Man occurred on October 19, 1970, when U.S. Air Force Academy cadet Bob Bennett and his fiancée were parked in their car near the bridge. According to Bob, they were sitting in their car when they observed something moving in the darkness. Suddenly, a figure appeared in a white rabbit costume with long rabbit ears. The man approached their car and yelled at them for trespassing before throwing an axe that shattered the passenger side window. However, Bennett's fiancée did not agree with his description, saying that he did not have a bunny suit on and that it looked more like long, pointy headwear. Just 10 days later, on October 29, 1970, construction security guard Paul Phillips described a similar incident. He saw a man in a rabbit suit standing on the porch of an unfinished home in Kings Park West. The figure was holding an axe and chopping at the porch of the house, yelling about trespassers. When the man noticed Phillips, he said that he was trespassing and that if he came any closer, he would chop off his head. After that, Paul fled the scene. Following these events, around 50 people reported that they had seen the Bunny Man, and both cases were thoroughly investigated by local law enforcement. The reports are still kept in Fairfax County records, but they did not lead to anything. While the original Bunnyman didn't get caught, his influence remains, and the Colchester Overpass has stayed intact since that time. The Green Man, also known locally as Charlie N-Face, was a man named Raymond Robinson who walked the empty roads of Beaver County, Pennsylvania. At night, the Green Man's face was deformed from a tragic accident in 1999 when Raymond Robinson, at 8 years old, was seriously injured while attempting to examine a bird's nest on the Morado Bridge near Beaver Falls. While climbing the bridge, Robinson touched a power line carrying 22,000 volts of electricity. The accident was documented in local newspapers, which reported that young Raymond had been severely disfigured and lost his eyes, nose, and right arm. What transformed Rob's son from a tragic accident victim into a living legend was his habit of taking long walks at night along State Route 351 between Coppell and New Galilee. Unable to work traditional jobs due to his injuries, Robinson spent his days crafting leather wallets and belts at his family's home. He would go on solitary walks along the rural road at night when there wouldn't be people outside because he didn't wish to scare others. However, his choice made it a scarier experience for residents of Beaver County who drove along Route 351 at night. They would frequently spot Robinson walking along the road, his injured face sometimes appearing to glow green in their headlights. Hence the nickname Green Man. What makes Robinson's story particularly compelling is the way it transformed from documented fact into regional folklore. While many who encountered him at night were frightened, those who took the time to speak with Robinson found him to be friendly and intelligent. He would often stop to chat with curious teenagers who sought him out, and some locals would offer him cigarettes or beer interactions, confirmed by multiple independent accounts and newspaper interviews. Robinson continued his nighttime walks until his death in 1985. The dead body under the mattress. There have been urban legends about dead bodies under mattresses throughout all of history. What makes this particular urban legend so terrifying isn't just its dreadful nature, it's the fact that it has proven true multiple times across different decades and locations, and the reality has matched the legend with extreme accuracy. The most notorious verified case occurred in 1999 at the Ocean View Motel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Guests had complained for days about a pervasive, sickening odor in room 112. The IO was dismissed as everything from a dead rat to a backed-up sewage system. Multiple guests checked in and out of the room, each complaining about the stench, each sleeping unknowingly above a corpse. When housekeeping finally investigated thoroughly, they discovered the decomposing body of Saul Hernandez, carefully concealed inside the box. Spring of the bed. The verification of this urban legend led to changes in hotel protocols across the country. Many establishments now require more thorough room inspections, including checking under mattresses and inside box springs. Some hotels have even switched to platform beds or sealed mattress units to prevent their use as hiding places. People in the walls, the notion of someone secretly watching within the walls, has long held a place in many urban legends. And as it turns out, this particular horror story idea has a basis in documented reality that makes it all the more disturbing. A case that resembles the urban legends occurred in 1986 in Pepperell, Massachusetts, where a man named Daniel Lent was discovered to have been secretly living within the walls of a family's home. For an extended period, Lent, a convicted criminal, had accessed the house through a small crawl space and started living there for a while, emerging when the family was away to eat their food, move their belongings, and even watch them through holes he had drilled. Something similar happened in 2008. In Japan, a homeless woman was found living in a man's closet for over a year. She had snuck in through a tiny crack in the closet and remained hidden, only coming out when the homeowner was away. Loon. The urban legend of El Loon was extensively covered by Swiss media, particularly by Limit 10 newspaper in 2013. Unlike many folk elf figures, this mysterious person was photographed multiple times, with verifiable sightings by local residents spanning a decade. In the Malls region of Switzerland, Lion was first documented around 2003 when residents began reporting encounters with a tall figure in the woods. What distinguished these sightings from typical urban legends was their consistency. The person always wore the same outfit, a vintage military gas mask and a thick camouflage coat. A local photographer was able to get a photograph of Lon, which marked a significant step forward in documenting his presence. This photograph, which appeared in Swiss publications, showed exactly what witnesses had described: a person dressed in military uniform traveling alone through the forest paths. The photograph seared to prove that this wasn't just local talk, but a real person. The most concrete proof came in September 2013 when Lion's entire costume was deliberately left in the woods. The note that was found, which was published in part by Swiss media, mentioned the recent increased attention they had received. Local police confirmed the discovery of the artifacts and note, making this one of the rare masked figure store stories supported by physical evidence and official paperwork. Cropsey. The Cropsey legend was about a deranged individual who would wander Staten Island's Willowbrook mental institution grounds after dark in the 1970s and 1980s. Cropsey was attributed to the disappearances of many children in the area. Many of the legends describe Cropsey as an escaped mental patient. He was most often described either wielding a bloody axe or with a hook for a hand. In reality, Cropsey was found to be Andre Rand, a former Willowbrook orderly who would become one of Staten Island's most notorious criminals. Rand worked at the institution during its most notorious period, a time when patients were subjected to extreme neglect and abuse after the institution's closure. He continued to haunt the periphery of the community, becoming a real-life embodiment of the Cropsey legend. Rand was convicted of kidnapping multiple young girls, with suspicions of involvement in numerous disappearances. His actual crimes mirrored the urban legend, almost precisely targeting vulnerable young women operating around institutional grounds. The first confirmed kidnapping attributed to Rand was that of Jennifer Schweer. In 1987, she was a 12-year-old girl with Down syndrome, exactly the type of vulnerable victim the Cropsey legend had described. Rand had a total of 5 notable alleged victims, and in 1988 he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Toxic Lady, according to the Toxic Lady legend, a mysterious woman arrived at a California hospital in the 1990s, and when medical staff drew her blood, toxic fumes caused hospital workers to collapse as the tale spread. It grew more dramatic. Some versions claimed her body melted through floors, and her presence caused equipment malfunctions. The legend describes hazmat teams quarantining hospital wings and staff falling ill from merely being near the woman. Stories tell of her skin's oily sheen, highly acidic blood, and strange odors that induced unconsciousness. The tale typically ends with her death and body being sealed in special containment. The truth behind this legend is the case of Gloria Ramirez. In 1994, she arrived at Riverside General Hospital with advanced cervical cancer and heart problems. Medical staff noticed an oily sheen on her skin, and after drawing her blood had an aminal-likey smell. Hospital workers began experiencing nausea, breathing problems, and muscle spasms. 23 people fell ill, 5 needing hospitalization, with 1 worker requiring intubation. The emergency room was evacuated and decontaminated by a hazmat team. Ramirez died from kidney failure shortly after arrival. Scientists believe this occurred because Ramirez used DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, for pain relief. Her organ failure may have converted it to DMSO2, then DMSO4, a toxic compound that caused the staph symptoms while lacking supernatural LLs, like melting floors. The real events were strange enough to inspire numerous urban